Bro, you gotta listen. You have to listen to it. Like when
What time is it on? What is it?
Nine to midnight. 9 to noon.
Yo, you tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
Broadcasting live from downtown Las Vegas, you're tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
Back at it after about a week and a half, almost 2-week hiatus here. Normally I would say it's Wednesday night past 9 p.m., but not today. Sunday night, end of the week, doing a little 8 p.m. show. Appreciate you guys joining us. We are coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, the home of sports and entertainment in the whole world, if you ask me, because it's not just about entertainment anymore. We got sports, baby, and we got a lot of it. We are coming to you live on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network, your home for 24/7 positive hip hop music culture, and of course sports as well. I'm your host Jose V. This is another episode of Straight Bet Sports. Now tonight I'm joined in studio once again after his hiatus. Rob G back in the building and running it back after doing his Chris Winn takeover last week. See Winn in the building. Definitely appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with us. Quan behind the big board is always doing his thing. Got the soundboard fixed.
Yeah, I'm here. Jose was mad because I talked to Chris. He's like, you never talked to me on my show.
So yeah, you guys had a lot of good conversations that night. I'm like, you know what? Can you talk to me like that? Sometimes like, hey,
I just talk to you like that?
It's like I don't get it.
I gotta get another point of view every now and then, man. You gotta get somebody else chiming in.
But listen, Jose always has 2 or 3 other people on.
That's true.
Chris was by himself. I felt bad, so.
I was good.
You never want to see someone just talking to themselves.
It's tough solo.
Definitely. Decided to jump in with him. I appreciate it. Definitely. Get you guys going, get you guys started.
I'll talk tonight a little bit for you, Jose.
All right, cool. Because you do got some things that we want you to talk about. So
let's hear about your baseball.
About your love for baseball.
I love it. Dodgers.
That's your game,
Are
bro.
they 4-2 right now? 4-2?
I believe so.
6-3.
6-3.
Okay,
6-3.
I haven't watched in a couple days.
Yeah.
But once again, man, thank you guys for joining us. If you are watching us, we are on Facebook Live, Twitter. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and check out Gorilla Cross Radio because that's where we are streaming live. And check out the Gorilla Cross app if you have not downloaded it yet. Go ahead and do so now. Now, after the show is over, if you guys didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing, you just want to rewatch it, check out my YouTube, Jose V Straight Bet Sports. If not, Gorilla Cross Radio, same thing. They will have it up there. On social media and any other platform when it comes to audio, iTunes, podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, all of that. You can find the audio there for sure. We will share it. And if not, GorillaCross.com as always. Now, we got to pay some bills. You guys do know that. Every single week, we are brought to you by a good friend of ours, a good friend of the show. Hopefully, we can have him on here one time soon. He does want to come in and talk. We are brought to you by Joshua Lafond with Simply Vegas Real Estate. He is a realtor here to help educate current and future Las Vegas locals on selling and investing in real estate. I know you're probably asking yourself, educate? Now, trust me, there's a lot of people that are adults that when it comes to real estate, don't know the right questions to ask, don't know where to get started, and think they need a lot of cash to buy a house here in Nevada, which simply isn't true. So Josh has decided to make his responsibility to teach his clients what they need to know, and equally important, what they need to ask to help ensure making their home ownership dreams a reality. So make sure you text or call Joshua Lafond today at 702-813 702-813-0533. This has been a paid advertisement for Joshua Lafond with Simply Vegas Real Estate. 702-813-0533. All right, man, we got the bills paid. We got that out of the way. So, fellas, sports are back. Whether you're betting,
sir.
whether you're not, because we know Rob's not betting. He says stay away, fade them all.
Or maybe after the show, though.
Maybe after the show, you might put some money on
Can't
tomorrow's
stop
games.
talking about it.
Yeah, right. It's tickling you. It wants you to bet, basically,
Right.
at that point.
Exactly.
But let's jump right into it, guys. Let's talk MLB. The reason I want to talk MLB because that's Quan's favorite sport, so we know he's going to talk about it here with us shortly. But being realistic, it's the sport that is in danger more than any other sport to not finish out. We talked about it before we got on the air. You have teams and leagues like the NBA where the bubble is working, no positive tests so far. The WNBA, bubble, no positive tests so far. The MLS, which plays outdoors, bubble, no positive tests so far. So how is it that other leagues are doing it and not having these issues, but yet the MLB couldn't figure it out? We talked about it, 60-game season. Rob Manfred now comes out and says, you know what, if these teams can't get it together, we're going to have to stop the league altogether. How are you making it the responsibility of the teams when you are the commissioner of the league? You're supposed to find a way to create some type of bubble or some type of product that's going to work where it's going to be healthy and safe for all of the teams included. Now, we've had the Marlins test positive for 19 people so far. Went from 4 to 14 overnight, then 19. You've had the Cardinals games postponed now as well. And you have the Dodgers, like you said, they're supposed to, or it was Dodgers or the Tigers that are supposed to be coming up soon
Right.
and play a 3-game series. We don't even know if that's going to happen now. It's insane. It's insane to know that you rushed a 60-game season. You had no clear plan in place to take care of the players, whether it was testing or however it was. You had no plan in place. And now we're seeing the effects of that. If I'm being real, I don't think we're going to see a 60-game season. I don't think we're going to finish. I don't even think we get halfway through it. I think we're going to see a lot more positive tests. I think we're going to see a lot more cancellations. And it's done. I don't see us having a season. Now, I'll jump in with Chris real quick. What are your thoughts on the non-bubble with MLB and what they've done so far?
Well, look, you have to look at this from a lay person's perspective, right? The average Joe, the average Jane. And you say to yourself, what's the differences between the non-bubble sports and the bubble sports, right?
Correct.
And you can see the obvious differences, right? There's some sort of structure when it comes to the bubble, whether it's the NBA or what's taking place now with the NHL. Okay, so what has that led to? Well, it's led to, a lot of tests being taken and a lot of people coming up negative, right? And not
Correct.
testing positive, okay? Not the situation in Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball, you got guys out there doing what they normally do in everyday life. They're going back to their families, going back to their homes. You can go to a restaurant. You can go to, an establishment, a business place, whatever.
Traveling constantly.
Yeah, traveling constantly around the country. So what is the difference? It's extremely obvious to me, the difference. And so you're seeing what you're seeing. Obviously, we saw with the Miami Marlins with their players testing positive. Now there's, the breaking news, of course, that there is the definite possibility that St. Louis Cardinals players are going to be testing positive more en masse. And so what do you have? You have a break in integrity of the game. You have us looking at our phones today, guys, right? And seeing that there's 4 games that have been postponed in Major League Baseball. I don't understand how you can maintain the integrity of the sport when you're having games being postponed, okay, in quotes, left and right, and baseball just basically saying, Rob Manfred, by the way, who is the commissioner of baseball, okay, you're the guy, you're the man, you're the point man.
That's on you.
Yeah, it's on you. And you got baseball games, you got people like him saying, well, we're going to make them up. We're going to make the games up. We're going to figure out a way. To me, it seems very shoddy, right? It seems scattered how they're handling this. And unfortunately, for baseball fans, I think they're going to be the one, and the players, by the way, who love the game, no question. They want to play. That's what they want to do. They're baseball players. They want to play. And unfortunately for them, I think it's going to end up costing them the season. We're going to end up having a situation that you're not going to have an end to this season. And that's as simple as that.
Now, talking about the Cardinals, like it says here on the ESPN article that I just pulled up on Saturday, the team had 1 player and 3 staff members test positive, while 4 other members of the organization had an inconclusive result. The team president, John Maliski, said during a video conference with reporters. Now, if you have staff members that are around the players that are already testing positive, you're taking, like you said, you're going home to your family. You don't know what you're doing, what you're bringing back, what you're not. And they're doing everyday life. This is not a bubble.
They're in society, right,
Yeah,
guys?
all day, all day.
They're in society. They
Absolutely.
can do whatever. It's not like the NBA bubble where these guys are staying in resorts, down at Disney. And
Exactly.
by the way, I lived in Orlando for 8 years.
They're
so I'm
not
very
isolated.
familiar.
They're not
It's-
isolated.
It's not an isolation situation. They're going back to you're sleeping in your own bed. You're going back to your families. Completely different than what the NHL and the NBA are doing. And unfortunately, we're seeing the net result of that when it comes to COVID-19, where you're having, players test positive, and it's creating a very dicey situation with Major League Baseball that, as we all, I think, are predicting, and might be predicting correctly, is going to end with the season coming to a close.
What do you think, Rob? Will we see a 60-game season or not?
I personally think that it's going to be canceled, so I'm on that train as well. The one thing I will say, though, is that they came out with all these, they came out with obviously the plan of what they're going to do and how they're going to approach things as COVID tests obviously come positive, because players testing positive was obviously in the plan already. It had to have already been in the plan. So if you guys to speak up, I don't know what the plan is for these games, because if they're saying that they're going to be played, then that was obviously already in the cards. So extending the season to however many days that they need to extend it to, or playing, whatever amount of games in one day, or back to back double headers or whatever it is, that was already in the cards. So for us to say that it is going to be canceled, yeah, that's our personal opinion, but MLB definitely, has something in the cards already, so that in case this did happen, or when it did happen, they have a plan already in place that's going to happen.
But if they didn't have a plan to do a bubble, what makes you think that they have a plan on not canceling the season or how to fix this?
Well, the good thing that the MLB has that no other NBA does, but the good thing that MLB has is that they can easily, if they wanted to move to a bubble, they could move to a bubble, because they can easily move to Florida. I know Florida's not a bubble, but they can easily also move to Arizona as well, where we go to spring training every year, so there's X amount of fields, 15, 20 fields that they can easily move to. I don't want to say easily, but they can move to Arizona, and they can possibly move to Florida, where the NBA is doing their own thing, and you've got enough fields for every team to play their games there. So they do have a backup option. I think that's maybe the emergency plan, but at least they do have that versus, if you're the NHL and you didn't go in a bubble or something like that, then you wouldn't really have a backup plan like that, because not too many cities have that many ice rinks in the city where they can just kind of move to. So if they do move to a bubble, they do have a great backup plan, but what's going on right now is already in the cards. It's hopefully they've got everything straight where, it's okay in case all these players test positive, or when they do test positive, these games will be played, and we already have a plan for that. We just don't know what it is yet. So
I see where Rob's going here, but think about this, guys. Think about the logistics of if you had to so-called suspend the season for a week, right? Or maybe 10 days, and then you're trying to set up a situation down in Florida or Arizona where you're having 30-plus major league teams. You're getting down there, getting their accommodations set, getting, the scheduling as far as to me, it just seems like a nightmare that would never happen.
They were already discussed that, though. You would hope that that's already in the, it's not like, all right, let's talk about it now. Like,
so here's
that
the thing.
must have been discussed already.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that, like, it just seems to me like it would.
You would hope.
I don't know how they could possibly do that. You know what I mean? From a setup standpoint and from a logistics standpoint of being able to actually do that.
It would be hard to do, especially with the time frame. But,
absolutely.
And here's the thing. I don't disagree with you that they didn't go into this with a plan already. I'm pretty sure you had to go into this with some type of plan if people are going to test positive. But at this point, with so many high tests and so many players and staff as well testing positive, is it even smart to try to stop and then restart the season?
What am I trying to say? I don't think that they must have known that some teams were going to test this many. I don't think we're above the limit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like for 20 people to test positive on one team.
You think they had a number in mind?
And I don't think I don't think it was less than 20. They definitely knew that the possibility of a whole team getting wiped out was in the cards. That's just how I feel. I can see that.
I can see that.
I can see, but Arizona must have been discussed Arizona must be on the back burner. They must know about it already. Florida must know about it already. And I'm just calling those two places out because that's where they were talking about putting the bubble. If they were to have a bubble, it would be in Florida. It would be in Arizona.
For those of you that don't know Rob that well, we call him Unsolved Mysteries because he's Mr. Conspiracy Theories.
Yeah.
You see that? He's throwing out his conspiracy
But he's breaking
theories.
it down.
No, correct.
He's
exactly.
He's coming
exactly.
With,
he's coming
with
it.
the info, right?
Exactly.
So that you can make us think that that's the case.
Exactly.
Hey, when it comes to Major League Baseball, I think they had rose-colored glasses on when they started the season, guys. I really do. I think they looked at it and they saw the situation with the KBO in Korea, and they looked at the Nippon League in Japan, and they said to themselves, you know what? Yes, the United States is a different country, and we have many more cases here in America, but we can. If those countries can do this, then we can do this. I think that's really. I mean, you take a look at this from a planning standpoint and from an optimism standpoint from Major League Baseball. I got a feeling that's really was a lot of the sentiment and the mentality from Manfred and from the owners and from the powers that be in Major League Baseball because as Rob pointed out, yes, I'm sure they had contingency plans in place for what the teams are going to do if they had a number of guys test positive. But we're seeing it's not the worst case scenario, but we're seeing a pretty bad scenario here where you're getting a large number of players from certain teams. And don't come at me with this, well, it's the Marlins. No one thought they're going to win the World Series anyway, or this team. It's not even about that, right? Because it's not even it doesn't matter, right, how bad the teams are. It's just a matter of, you got to have these teams, somewhat intact to have a legitimate, season that has integrity.
So before we get off of that train, I still want to talk baseball, but I want to talk about the actual games that are going on.
Yeah.
Final thought. Do we see a cancellation? Yes or no?
Yes.
Quan jumps in. What do you know?
I said yes already, so I'm
not saying a restart. Just do we see a cancellation or a stoppage in baseball?
A stoppage that's two things.
Okay, you know what?
A cancellation or a stoppage.
Do we
Those
see
two
let's clear it up. Do we see a stoppage in Major League Baseball coming soon?
Yes.
Yes, we get a stoppage because they had the plan set in place where there's going to be 60 games in 67 days. And the way this is shaking out right now with the number of cancellations they've already had. Oh, and by the way, guys, there's things called rainouts and there's other situations they have to deal with.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be really rough to be able to get this going and finished out. So I do believe they cancel the season.
Cool. So I want to give a big shout out to Goose Thomas. He's checking in on the live feed here. Let the ball bounce. He says #ATL Braves, man. He's a big Braves fan.
Mm-hmm.
But he also agrees. He thinks that Arizona or Florida would have been an ideal spring training for spots for both, obviously. Even though they were COVID hotspots, they would have been.
I don't understand why they didn't
bubble.
do that just to do it. Like, why didn't you just do the bubble? Like, what's the harm of doing a bubble?
They had no plan, Rob. We talked about this. I know we were going to get off of it already, but they wanted to rush the season. How many proposals didn't they have where they went from 100 games or 120 down to this, to that? I mean, they kept cutting it.
Baseball dropped. What's going on, Quan?
You good? You see what I'm saying? Like,
No.
it's like it's. They never had a plan. They just
baseball
never had a
dropped
plan.
the ball big time. We can all probably agree on that about the way they handled this whole entire situation. And then, again, it looks like they're dropping the ball big time again, right? It looks like they're dropping the ball big time. And those fans that they wanted, I think I said this before on the show, like the fans that they wanted to kind of possibly gain from this whole thing of, hey, we're going to actually have a season, I think that they're losing it right now. They look like trash. Like the whole league as in general. Rob Manfred's coming out saying that these other people need to figure it out when he's the commissioner, like Chris said. So, I mean, yeah, it should be his job. It should be absolutely his job because I guarantee you if something were to happen in the NBA, I'm going to say David Stern. That's old school. Silver would, definitely step up and take care and be the face of the movement of what we're going to do or the plan that we're going to do. So
you see the
Rob
differences in
Manfred's got to
commissioners,
go.
basically.
He's definitely not going to make it through his whole term as a commissioner for sure. Like this is definitely not helping him, and he was already kind of looked at as like that, like not the best commissioner. And yeah, this is not going to help him at all. He's got to go.
Once again, you are listening to another episode of Straight Bet Sports here on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network. We are brought to you by Joshua Lafond with Simply Vegas Real Estate. Joined in studio by Rob G. Winn joining us once again back-to-back weeks. Before we get continued here, I want to go ahead and give a shout-out because I know you guys normally see me with a hat. I'm not wearing a hat today. Decided to wear the haircut, fresh cut. Give a big shout-out to my barber, Eric. He kept me going through the pandemic when other barbers didn't. Check him out, man. Line him up by Eric. He's over there at 845 West Craig Road, Suite 102 in North Las Vegas, Nevada. Make sure you guys hit them up. Go down there. Let them know Jose V and Rob G sent you because we both go down there with them.
He jacked me up yesterday, though.
I was waiting for that. I knew Rob would say that.
Go see Eric. He takes care of us.
Yeah, man. Eric's the homie for sure. Now, let's go ahead and run down some of these scores real quick. Rob's Dodgers went ahead and beat the Diamondbacks today 3-0. Clayton Kershaw had a good return today. Bellinger homered as well for the Dodgers to blank them. But what is it with the Dodgers always giving a low-scoring game? They can never score a lot of runs for Kershaw. Is that what I've seen? Another game as well, Boston and New York, man. We always see good games between these two. Chris Winn, you got him on your ticket. Judge homers twice, especially in the ninth inning.
Saved it on the run line right there.
Eighth inning to give him the 3-run homer to save the run line as well. Your Detroit Tigers could not hold off today, Chris. They lost 4-3. Yeah. Baltimore pulls off the victory 5-1 against the Orioles. Goose's Braves 4-0. They starting off the season good, man. 7-3 there. Some of those teams, like you said, you got to find out the sleeper teams, what teams you want to look at. Another team too, man. Our buddy Jimbo talked about it. The Twins, man. Twins are 7-2, 5-1 at home. Won again today against the Indians, 3-1. 7-2 for the Cubs. They beat up on the Pirates, 2-1 today. The Padres, man, they still have way too much talent for me to have 4 losses on the year. They lost to the Rockies today, 9-6. Astros pulled it off against the Angels. I guess they're trying to figure out how to hit the ball now without knowing the signs. It looks like it's probably going to start working for them there. Now, the team that I thought was going to come out of the gate, to be honest with you, because they normally start off hot in the beginning part of the season, is the Seattle Mariners. Seattle Mariners aren't looking too good to start the year right now. I'm not saying they were going to kill anybody or do anything. I'm just saying it was a team that I was expecting to come out the gate. They lost again to Oakland today. We had a few postponements due to this whole COVID thing. Nationals didn't play the Marlins. Cardinals didn't play the Brewers. Phillies didn't play the Jays. And, of course, the doubleheader was supposed to be Cardinals-Brewers today as well. Yep. That did not happen. Now, what did you guys see in baseball today that you liked and surprised you more than anything overall with the games that we did talk about?
Phillies didn't play the Jays because they had positive tests?
No, I think that one was because of the stadium, right? Or was it also because the Phillies had some people test positive?
The Phillies were in a series. We're in a series with the Marlins,
so
right?
And
so they're still in quarantine. Yeah, that's why the Phillies are bounced out so far. So, but the Phillies are supposed to come back tomorrow, right? I thought they were supposed to come back tomorrow and play the Yankees, right? And start a series with the Yankees.
But it looks like you said that one's going to be postponed.
That one looks like it's postponed.
Okay, so there's another postponement. Yeah, good for Major League Baseball. Solid.
Yikes.
Yeah, my comments on baseball today. I mean, the last couple days. Yesterday was crazy because there's been a ton of runs being scored late in these games. Okay, and
that Chris Winn doesn't need because they're killing his
ton
tickets.
Of runs. I mean, I don't want to get into my betting situation or my bad beats, but for some reason, teams can't not allow 6 runs in a ninth inning in a National League game coming up over the weekend. But today, obviously, was the Red Sox Yankees, the one I was paying attention to, and getting a chance to see this Yankee team loaded. I mean, you look at that lineup from Torres to Judge across the board.
They're beasts.
These guys, there is not a weak spot in that lineup. And the Red Sox, of course, winning multiple World Series here in the past, 15, 20 years. They have some young talent there in Boston, though. They've got the Benintendi's. They've got, the Rafael Devers, Bogarts. Bogarts had a big game. Yeah. Bogarts, a couple of bombs in the game.
He kept them in the game.
And he kept them in. This game was going back and forth, by the way, Jose and Rob. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah, lead changes throughout the whole game.
It was back and forth. And it was evident that it's just different with no fans in the stands. The atmosphere is just different. The guys, much like the NBA, I think they're more comfortable without the fans actually being there. And
less pressure.
You think of it almost like BP. You think of it like when you're in spring training and you're just working on stuff because it's not the same atmosphere. And it doesn't seem like the same pressure level. Like the guys don't feel, to me, at least watching the games, it doesn't feel like they have the same pressure level. And so you get hitters just teeing off, and hitting bombs left and right and runs being scored left and right. And, you talked about the Dodger game being 3-0. That's an anomaly, in Major League Baseball this year. If you get a game that's 3-1 or 2-1 or something like that or 2-0, that's strange because there's a lot of teams putting up a ton of runs. And we didn't expect it, really, out of some of them.
You talk about the Yankees lineup. Do you have 6 guys in the Yankees starting lineup that are batting over 300 or higher? I know it's early in the season. I get that. But that just shows you that it's not just about the long ball. It's not just about home runs. These guys are getting on base. They're hitting the ball. And let's be real. Their pitching's not that bad either.
Pitching solid. I mean,
Paxton gave it up today, though. No, Paxton,
it was early.
Paxton gave it up. He's neg 250.
Yeah, he gave a two run homer in the first inning, I believe it was, to start off. But I mean, you had scoring in every single inning except the 6th and the 9th.
Yep.
Literally, they scored runs in every single inning.
That was a primetime game for ESPN, so yeah, they appreciate that. Thank you for that 9-7 final.
Now, another thing I wanted to talk to Chris about real quick. Your guy from Detroit,
Yes, I am.
the reliever, 9 strikeouts.
killing it, yes.
Did I see that correctly?
Now, obviously, it's dampened because Jose, it was funny because you did the scoreboard,
Alexander
right?
strikes out first.
You did
9
my boys
batters
a
in relief.
favor, my friend, because you only gave us 1 loss today, okay?
Yeah.
Because we lost 2 bookends of a doubleheader, okay, today.
I forgot.
For some reason, in this COVID-19 Major League Baseball season, we're playing 7-inning doubleheaders now. That's the new rule.
Oh, that
we're
is
playing
wow,
7 innings.
I didn't even
so
see
we
that.
played 7 innings in the first. So I'm watching my phone earlier today, right? Because I've got some action out there, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, it's the bottom of the 6th, so I still got a few more innings here to have a chance because we're down. We're down, and then they say. Then they go 7th inning final in the Tigers-Reds game in game 1 of the doubleheader. I'm like, whoa, what's that all about? Okay, they have a rainstorm or something? What the hell happened? And no, it's a rule, I guess, that they're doing because of all these makeups that they have to do, whether it's a rain out or whether it's because of cancellations or postponements. Okay, they're doing 7-inning doubleheaders. So the Tigers and Reds played 2 7-inning doubleheaders today. Hey, look, I know I sound like a homer being a Michigan guy and being a Tigers fan and being but Detroit was one of the surprises starting this season off the first 10 games of this restart. Yeah. The Tigers were, above 500. It's a team that's picked, I believe, 20.5 wins for the season, over under
Picked last
win
in the
total.
division.
Picked last in the division.
4
Team
years
with
in a row.
just not very good. Not very good. But hey, come on, Rob. They have cool unis though, man. You got the Old English D. You got
like that hat.
You got
like that hat I be wearing with the Old English D.
You got the classic
Yeah.
black and white, my friend. It's a sharp looking uni. But no, but they've been playing pretty well, and maybe they're coming back down to earth now. We'll see. It looks like they're not going to play for the next few days though, because they're scheduled to have a series with the St. Louis Cardinals coming
that's
up.
gonna get postponed,
and the Cardinals are one of the teams, of course, in the mix with this whole COVID-19 thing. So we'll see how it all shakes out with that.
So yeah, Alexander finished with 10 strikeouts, the most in any game by a relief pitcher since Hall of Famer Randy Johnson struck out 16 on July 18, 2001. Not only that, the game marked the first 7-inning doubleheader, which you were talking about, in Major League history. So that's pretty interesting because they got to change the rules. But I'm not sure if it was Quan that posted on social media or somebody else, that it's mind-boggling how they rain out games, but they can play during the COVID situation. So that's pretty interesting to have there as well.
And a quick note, Jose and Rob and Quan, I'm a big-time Tigers fan. Never heard of this pitcher until today. Okay, gives you kind of an indication of how much of an impact he's had so far in Major League Baseball.
What was his name?
Alexander.
Tyler Alexander.
Yeah, nope. I'd never heard of him.
I never heard of.
Yeah.
Baseball needs Dodgers, Yankees to save the season.
Right,
Especially
I mean-
if there's a stoppage. If there's a stoppage, you need the money. We all
Ratings, everything. And see, Winn, just so you know, final in the Rockets. I know we're switching real quick. 121-16. So you're good
Bang
there.
a ring.
Did you hit your ticket?
Dang, got it both, baby.
Bang!
2-team parlay.
A what? 3-team?
My 1-900 number will be coming out probably in the next couple of weeks. Okay, guys, so you can dial it up.
1-800-C-WIN
Get
special.
picks from C-Win. I know from hosting shows with all the handicappers here in town
Your
in
pro
Vegas.
handicappers that
they
go
just
0-7?
frown on me because of my parlays, and I get that, But hey,
Yeah, I
every
don't
once in a
parlay
while I'll hit one.
Ever.
Okay. No, I mean, you know the deal, Rob. It's parlays are supposed to be
called
bad.
straight bet
They're
sports.
bad. Yes, they're bad.
So let's talk some NBA, fellas.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and get out of MLB. We're done with that. First thing we want to talk about, obviously, is the bubble. Bubble's working.
It's working.
We got some guys that are trying to be sneaky. Lou Williams trying to get them chicken wings. But if you saw the picture,
So wait.
I'm sorry, if you saw
They
that
have good
picture,
eats, man. At
bro,
Magic City, they
that
have good
plate,
grub.
That plate looked
Don't
good.
mess with it, man.
I had it pulled up right now. What was the player that went across the invisible line? Was it
I know. I don't know his name, but to get a Postmates order.
Right. So he went across to get a Postmates order, had to quarantine for, I don't even know the
Was
story.
it
I brought
14
it up,
days?
I don't even know the story.
10 days?
It was like something like that.
Yeah.
But then Zion leaves the bubble, obviously, for whatever family, personal reasons, whatever it may be, no problem. But comes back into the bubble and only has to quarantine
It was like a day or
4
two,
days.
4 days. Okay.
He had to quarantine for 4 days versus someone that crossed an invisible line to get some food.
Well, is it because of
The rules.
contact tracing? Because they can find out where you've been and what you're doing, and it's excused absence as opposed to unexcused.
Correct.
right?
So like the Postmates,
Yeah.
they don't know where that Postmates guy came from, as
true.
where they know where Zion's going with his family.
They can contact trace. That's probably why they did that. I think.
But that's tough, though. I mean, you have Zion his first game because if he was to be quarantined past that time, then he wouldn't have maybe been able to probably make the first game. So
So it's been
That's all
fun
I'm
action, though, man. It's been real fun, to be honest with you. Seeing what Walt Disney's been doing, ESPN, I give them props. The way they set up this ballroom or this gym or this arena, whatever it is, with that digital board, while they're allowing fans. We talked about Paul Pierce was there watching the Celtics game today. Jason Tatum's son was on the screen watching the game. They're pumping in the crowd noise, which it's cool because you don't really have the crowd there, like you said, to affect you or bother you, but you're giving them that hype, that feeling, especially for fans that are watching it. Now, I like what they're doing, man. There's a lot of high-scoring games. Like I told you guys, for all you betting people out there, first full day of the NBA, we had totals in the East, which you would see 189.5. West 220 on the Rockets game. 200.
Isn't it 10-minute quarters too? Am I?
No, I don't.
No,
I don't
it's
think
still
that.
it's regular.
It's regular.
It's regular.
No, it's still the same.
12 minutes. Yeah.
And then not only that, now they're getting smart with it. First full day of the NBA, they had the highest scoring total combined from all the games in the history of the NBA in one day. After that, the sports books out here in Vegas got smart. We're now seeing totals 250, 248. The total in this game today was 243.5 for Winn on the Rockets game.
Yes.
And it's insane because some of these games are hitting, though. You're seeing teams have 40-point quarters. 40-point quarters.
Guys, it's a far cry. It's a far cry from those
quarters.
2001 Detroit Piston Indiana Pacer games where the final score was 81-72, right?
It's a big difference.
And
man.
Ben Wallace was a high scorer with like 15 points. It's a little bit different now.
But
a little bit.
The biggest thing too, man, it's you're seeing teams that are probably not being phased because there's no home court advantage. It's wide open. And let's be real here. I understand they're still doing seedings. You know what I mean? There's the number one seed and all that. But I honestly think that the seedings don't matter.
Jose, you mean when they put the stickers on the floor and it says Boston Celtics, and you got your sponsor there?
But the
That's not a home court
seedings
advantage?
do matter because it depends on who you play.
I get that.
If
But
you're
here's
the
thing.
third seed, you're playing a tough team. If you're the first seed, you're playing Memphis or Pelicans.
Correct.
Or whoever.
But there's no home court advantage. Back in the
home
before
court doesn't
when it
matter, but the seeding matters because it matters who you're playing on the road to the finals.
I get that, but it's a different situation on how you're playing. It's a different team that you're playing. Overall, the way that these guys are playing, it's not your everyday average NBA basketball game. That's what I'm saying. The situation, the scenario is a lot different. You can get a team that's an 8 seed playing a 1 seed, and it's not going to matter because that home court advantage is huge. It's huge. Look at Golden State Dallas a few years ago when they had Baron Davis and they beat the number 1 overall seed Dallas Mavericks. That home court advantage for Golden State was huge. You're not going to have that right now, as where a number 1 seed might have that advantage as well. I see what you're saying. Some teams are still tougher. They're stronger. They're better teams overall. Like you have, Milwaukee, what they did today, what they're doing coming back from with the restart and all that. I get that. But my opinion, I don't think that the seedings really matter all that much. I think anyone can win this tournament. Like we said, this is literally the biggest, most famous AAU tournament ever in the history of the NBA. That's literally what it is. Now, I know Quan disagrees with me, like you said. 1 through 8, whatever it may be. But what do you guys see? What do you think?
I think they matter. I mean, I think the seedings matter for sure. I mean, they may matter. They may matter a little bit less this year than before, obviously. But I think they do matter. So wherever, you're definitely playing for a spot. You want that high seed. You want the highest seed possible. So.
Well, I think it matters if the seedings directly correlate how good a team you are, right? Like if you're the best, if you're the number 1 seed and you're one of the best teams, I think it matters because given this situation that we're in with the bubble and playing this tournament style game down in Lake Buena Vista, Florida, every team is under the same circumstances, right? I mean, you and Quan just talked about, the home court advantage and playing in your own arena in front of thousands of fans. Every team is dealing with not having that, right? Every team is dealing with, basically showing up at the gym in full uniform coming from your hotel room, you know what I mean? And not being able to converse or to have the same leisure activities that you used to partake in, right, when you were not in the NBA bubble. And you can all imagine what I'm talking about there. So everyone is dealing with this same situation, and nobody has an advantage in that way. So to me, I think that, I don't think there's any question that seeding does matter because it gives you an indication of where these teams are stacking up level-wise in the NBA.
It just doesn't matter for home court advantage, like you said. It doesn't matter for that standpoint, but seeding is more than just home court advantage. But that is a big deal. But listen, man, if I'm in a Game 7, I want my fake crowd noise on my side.
No doubt.
I want the fake crowd noise.
I agree.
And that's going to be interesting to see how they handle that, right? Because when you get into Game 5 situations that could be eliminating situations, right? And you're not. What are you gonna have? Just ambient noise that they're having right now in these games where it's basically there's not a situation.
It's fake pumping crowd noise.
They're not pumping. Somebody's at the free throw line, right? Russell Westbrook's at the free throw line in the game tonight. And it's from 2K. It's a 1-point game. They're not blasting up they're not amping up the volume on the crowd noise. It's just ambient noise in the background that people are hearing. So that has an impact, I would think, right, guys? I mean,
they're using the crowd sound from 2K.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, from the video game.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Really? I didn't know that.
That's kind of cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying? These specific situations when you get into the playoff atmosphere or playoff situation where it matters, right? And you're not going to have that crowd effect where you're not going to have the crowd behind you or against you, or some players that may, have issues when they're on the road, playing on the road against the Boston Celtics in the TD Bank North Garden, or playing against the Lakers at the Staples Center, and you're a Western Conference team. You're not going to have that. So that's going to be intriguing to say the least, to see how those teams handle it going into big games.
Their home court? I know we talked about that before. No, they decided not on that.
I thought they did, but they're using them in the practice ballrooms, because I saw where they're practicing, they have some of the home courts on there. Like
they
LeBron,
might, yeah.
Like
they
LeBron,
might
the Lakers
that,
were practicing on Orlando Magic's floor the other day. So that's what I'm saying. I think they did that, but not for the actual game itself. Once again, I am Jose V. This is another episode of Straight Bet Sports. We are coming to you live on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network here in Las Vegas, brought to you by Joshua Lafond with Simply Vegas Real Estate. Got Rob G, Chris Winn in the studio, Quan behind the big board as well. We're talking some NBA right now. We got one game left here on the slate. Dallas Mavericks playing the Phoenix Suns, 116-113 left in the fourth quarter with 1:01 to go. Now, another thing I wanted to touch on real shortly, man. Prayers goes out to Isaac from the Orlando Magic. If you guys saw that game, we were talking about it earlier. Young kid was doing a jump stop. His left knee gave out, was the knee that he had the brace on. Didn't look good. Reports are showing it could be a possible ACL tear, so we'll see, man. That sucks, especially with the whole restart. A lot of these guys are trying to make those playoffs and just trying to play, man, and have a good time out there. Now, the Nets beat the Wizards. I believe the Wizards are pretty much done, like you said, when it comes to the playoffs. 118-110. Boston and Portland. That was a great game today, man. Final came into 128-124. Boston pulled it off. Boston was up as many as 24 points in this game, and Portland came back. Talk about that game, Chris. You and I were talking about it earlier. Exciting game to watch, especially on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, all those young bucks for the Celtics were going off, man. Jason
Tatum was
Brown.
Jason Tatum was
every
crazy.
Three that guy was putting up in the first half was going in. It was sick. And obviously the announcers, it was Jeff Van Gundy and somebody else was talking. I think it was Mark Jackson as well, too, talking about how basically Jason Tatum is going to be the next superstar in the NBA, right? They're talking much like they're talking about Victor Oladipo a year ago, right, in Indiana. Same type of situation, but the Celtics were going off, as you pointed out, Jose.
18
up
of
24 at one
on
point,
land.
And then
Celtics?
somehow... Does anybody play any defense in this NBA right now, by the
Not
way?
right now,
Can
no.
anybody throw a hand
What's
up?
defense?
I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's just like, it was crazy.
It's like the NBA told them not to play defense.
How much offense?
Right.
Yeah, how much offense is going down in this? And this game was clearly evident of that. And then, look, we don't sleep on the Portland Trailblazers, okay?
Not at all.
This team, getting back Zach Collins healthy, getting back, the big man healthy after that Nurkic after that horrific injury that he had, and we all know about the backcourt, of course, with McCollum and Dame. This team is dangerous. Okay, if you're the Lakers, or if you're a team in the West like the Clippers, or even, dare I say it, a team like the Rockets, don't sleep on Portland, because these guys can score and they can D up too, and they can pretty much do everything. And there's a lot of guys I haven't mentioned on the Blazers that are key contributors. And they made it a ball game, and the Celtics ended up landing right on the number. By the way, the Celtics were -4.
Dude, when you got a guy like Gary Trent Jr. coming off the bench and giving you 21 points, 7-11 from the 3-point range, I mean that's gonna win you ball games. Granted, they didn't win this one; they fell behind, but it was a tough fought game, man, all the way through. When Boston was up 24, I thought it was done.
It could have been one of those NBA games, right, where a team gets down and then you just end up losing by 35. Yeah. You know what I mean? It could have been that way. And that's the way the field kind of was there in the second quarter with the Celtics, the way they were just boat racing them. You got to give credit to Terry Stotts and his coaching staff, and also that team, for coming back in the second half. And again, it showed what I've been talking about, and what Jose and Robbie, we were talking about before the show with this Portland Trailblazers team. They've got players. And if Terry Stotts can kind of work his magic and get that chemistry set going, and make all the right moves, they could be a team that could be dangerous.
Not only that, you even talked about it. You said that they're that type of team that if they get into the playoffs, if they get that opportunity, you just said it, they're dangerous. They're 2.5 games out. I'm sorry, 3 now because they lost. So they're 3 games out of that final spot to make the playoffs. The way the NBA has their stuff going on right now, you're 4 games out. When it's over and all said and done, you're playing for that final 8 spot. So technically, they're still in the playoff hunt, and they can be a scary team, especially when you have a vet like Carmelo Anthony, which is trying to win a ring, which is trying to prove something. They can be a scary team. Rob, you agree, disagree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. They are one of those teams that could, for the past few years couldn't get over the hump and, had so much potential going into the playoffs, so much potential during the season, and they always get eliminated. And this could be what they need. It could be for one of these teams. This is what they need. They needed a short season so that they can, get into the playoffs maybe a little bit more healthy than they usually are. I know, was it Nurkic?
Nurkic,
yeah. I want to make sure I pronounce it right. He's had some injury issues and stuff like that. So this may be what they need. So like Chris said, this is definitely a deadly team that every team in the West needs to, every team in the NBA actually needs to keep an eye on, because they are legit. They are legit, and it's just things haven't gone their way the last few years when it comes to the playoffs. They get to the playoffs, but they just can't close the deal, or at least get to maybe a conference finals or the finals themselves. So.
And Jose, we're here in Vegas. Shout out to Zach Collins, man.
Zach Collins,
the big
baby.
man out of Bishop Gorman, who's a key player on that team.
And he was hurt when the season starts.
Yes.
So this is a good thing for him, definitely. Moving away from that game, another team that's fighting for that 9th, 8th spot in the playoffs, San Antonio. They held off today, and they beat the Memphis Grizzlies 108-106. DeMar Rosen with 14 points. DeJounte Murray, if I'm saying that correctly, I want to make sure I said his name correctly. 21 points, 9 of 19 from the field. Not a bad game for him. And then you have people coming off the bench like Rudy Gay, still giving you 20 points. Solid veteran there. Things that you need to have to fight and get that final playoff spot. Now, Ja Morant doing what he does still, giving you 25 points. 5 or 6 from the free throw line. Still solid there. You got guys like Jackson Jr. giving you 21 points. He needs to keep producing as well for them to actually have any type of run here. Now, Memphis has to find a way to hold on, too. They have a better record.
You can't lose in the tight games like this,
Not right now. Not when it matters.
When you're 32 and 30, you're 32 and 35, and you're right there on the doorstep. You have to start playing well. By the way, how old is Rudy Gay? Is he like 47 years old?
He's been in the league forever.
Yeah, he's still chugging along with the San Antonio Spurs. And he's still dropping buckets. But horrible game today. He was like 3 for 15 from the field. Rudy Gay today. Not great.
They won, though.
Yeah, they won. You get the W taken. Now, from these 2 teams and Portland, we can add all these 3 teams together. These are probably the 3 main teams that are fighting, with the Pelicans being right there trying to get into it at the end. But out of these 3 teams, if you had to pick Memphis, San Antonio, and Portland that are going to fight for that 9th and 8th spot, who's going to make it?
Portland
for sure.
Without a doubt.
I don't think there's any question about it. Yeah, in my opinion, yeah. I love the Blazers. I love them.
We have a final. Phoenix did beat Dallas 117-115. Just want to throw that out there. So that's the final.
Low-scoring game.
I like Phoenix.
Yeah, low-scoring game, right?
Phoenix is good.
Well, drop barely over 230. Come on now. This is the NBA. So let's the new NBA.
Let's check out the box score. I want to see. Let's see. Luka.
And real quick, Portland has Houston to play. They have Denver to play. They have the Clippers to play. They have Philly to play. They have Dallas to play, and then Brooklyn.
So they have a tough schedule, which is.
I mean, they all have a tough schedule because everybody playing right now is a good team, because none of the bad teams were able to come. But you do have to look at their schedule to see who's going to make it, because that is a big deal.
It is.
You got to see who they're playing, of course, because it's not just going to be a cakewalk.
Because I feel like there's 4 losses right there in the next 6 games.
You're like Houston,
Denver, Clippers, Philly. I mean, everyone's back there. Embiid had a huge game.
Yeah.
I think they could beat Philly. I think that's one they could win. The other ones, I think those are tough, but I think I can see them beating Philly.
At Dallas, they're on the road against Dallas.
Now, speaking of Dallas, like we said,
they're on the road.
You check that box.
They're on the road.
Jose V, did you check that score, the box score here?
I'm looking at it right
Mavericks
now.
Team?
So Luka Doncic, 40 points.
Look at that stat line.
30. Okay, so let's see. 11 of 20 from the field. No 3-pointers, but 18 of 19 free throws.
Nice.
I'm talking about, dude, that stat line is sick. 40 points, 11 assists, 8 boards.
So close to the triple-double.
How about Kristoff? 8 boards.
He had a solid game. Yeah.
30 points. I mean.
Wait. What was it?
Yeah, Kristoff had 30 points.
Oh, yeah. 30 points.
Porzingis. Yep.
He needs more rebounds, though.
Yeah.
Give me 5 less points and 3 more rebounds.
Devin Booker, 30. His usual. You know he's going to put up points.
He does that. He puts up 30 now.
Ricky Rubio put up 20 tonight. Not bad.
Rubio had a good game. 7 assists, 9 boards.
DeAndre Ayton's got to step up, though, man.
He's got to be better
start.
than that, right? You can't be.
You can't get 7 points
No,
out
you
of DeAndre.
You're a number 1 pick overall.
That doesn't work.
That's Anthony Bennett numbers right there, okay? And you don't do Anthony Bennett.
Remember Anthony Bennett? Wow.
Yeah, number 1 pick
He
overall.
was I'm sorry. I think he was the biggest number 1 pick bust overall.
100%.
Like he
He
should have
absolutely
never
is.
went number. When he was at UNLV, I
The
just
Jamarcus
Who's
Russell
a worse?
of
the
basketball.
Jamarcus
Who's the worst
Russell
number 1
of the
pick?
NBA.
Who's worse?
The Jamarcus
Nobody.
Russell of the NBA.
Yeah,
Well, that-
Jamarcus
yeah.
Russell of the NBA.
Yeah,
Definitely. Like
absolutely.
That was a
Yeah.
big shocker too. I remember we watched that draft and we were just like, "What? Like you took Anthony Bennett number 1?" Yeah.
I was like a UNLV. No, Jose, we were covering
What?
we've been covering the Rebels for dude.
Years, yeah.
I'm like, what? Wait a second. Wait a minute. There's
Wow.
like 4 other guys at least that I would have taken number 1 overall besides Anthony Bennett that year. And I guess the Cavaliers saw that monstrous potential coming out of the big man out of UNLV. I
He
guess
did a
so.
better game from Mikal Bridges too. Jesus. 39 minutes, 4 points.
as a starter, that's not
1
gonna cut it.
rebound. No, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 3 blocks, I guess.
Hey, but his plus minus was +5 when he was on the floor, so he didn't
Yeah.
hurt the team. You got to look at the plus minus.
40 minutes and you got
40
points?
minutes.
40 minutes. Wow.
So Rob, I want to talk with you.
What's up?
Betting. Did you say you haven't been betting?
I'm looking
But
at
you
the
said you were
lines.
looking at the Lakers. You said what game tomorrow? Raptors who?
No, it was a game yesterday. The
Oh,
Raptors
the other
and the
day.
Lakers, and I saw that the Lakers were a small favorite. It was like 3.5. And
So these are the
It
games that are
closed
starting.
at, I had
these are the ones
it
that are
too,
trying to bring
Rob.
you
I
into-
had it minus 2.5 that closed out.
Oh, so it's yeah.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Like
That's
you-
what
like you
that's what I
said.
always say.
Trap game.
Trap,
You
yeah,
said it.
yeah.
Trap game.
Tell all
Trap.
your friends.
Tell
Come
all
on
your
down.
friends you're the next contestant
Yes.
on The Price is Right.
So are
Yeah,
you
2.5.
gonna bet tomorrow? Are you
I'm
looking
looking
at
at the
something?
lines. What did I say? I said I like something tomorrow. We were looking
Tell us
at,
what you like. What do you like? What are you looking
Oh,
at?
I think
tomorrow?
looking at the hat. I'm a Dodgers fan, obviously, but I love. You got Bueller on the mound tomorrow.
Walker.
And
Bueller.
yeah, Bueller,
Bueller.
and they're playing. As you said, they're playing the Padres, who are a better team than their record right now. And they got Paddock on the mound. Paddock's got like a 1.73 ERA, and they are only neg 130. It will open neg 135 down to neg 130. So money coming on the Padres. When obviously you have those teams like the Steelers, the Packers, the Dodgers that you're gonna get bet on them no matter what, right? Lakers are neg 100. You got 100 people lining up to bet them neg 100. So that looks very trappish to me, to be honest with you.
And he's saying negative, guys.
Oh yeah, neg.
Got to be careful.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
no,
yeah. Oh,
I heard it.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Just say
you're
negative.
Good. You're good.
Oh, all right.
I get what Quan's saying. You just gotta be careful.
Oh, negative.
Neg 100.
Yeah, neg 100.
You get it? Okay, no. Okay.
Negative
Yeah.
135.
I don't think he got it yet, but we'll,
I
we'll walk away
It's
from
over
it.
his head.
I got it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you betting. That's something you're looking at. And you like that.
Yes, I like the Padres tomorrow. We'll see what happens. So I don't know if I'll bet it though. I got to go down. You got to put your money in your account, and you got to do all that. I guess you can go to 7-Eleven and do it. But
Big shout out to Bojo Aka joining us on the Instagram live feed here. Q105 DJ there in Las Vegas Lights UNLV. He's all over the place, man. When there's not a pandemic going on as
Lights
well.
won today.
Actually, no. We're about to get into that. Thank you for jumping
Oh,
in.
sorry.
So let's go ahead and give Las Vegas some local love since we have some Las Vegas teams. Now, if you guys do not know, we do have a USL soccer team out here in Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Lights ended up being the first pro team here in Las Vegas to play a home game after the pandemic has started and everything going on. Now, they did take the L, their second loss of the season. They played against their crosstown rival, Reno FC. Richards, the captain of Reno, scored his 4th goal of his career, and he's been with them for his 4th year, so a goal a season, I guess. He's their longest tenured player there. Now, a lot of frustration at Cashman, especially with the players. Ramon Martin de Campo, I talked to him. Brian Del Fuente, El Capitan, he was very frustrated with the officiating as well. He was, going back and forth, barking with the officiating. But at the end of the day, you got to play. You can't worry about the officiating. You can't let it slow you down. Weird situation, too, with no fans being there. Just media allowed. It was kind of eerie, kind of just not right, because if you know the Lights and you've been to their games, they sell out. And that's something that fuels their team, and they're a lot better at home than they are on the road. Now, we'll see what happens. Their next game is here on Saturday. They're coming back up here at Cashman Field, 7:30 p.m., I believe it is. They're playing San Diego Loyal once again. Technically, the 3rd time they've played them this season. First game of the season before the pandemic, they did tie them 1-1 out on the road in San Diego. For those of you that do not know, Landon Donovan, U.S. soccer legend as well, is the head coach of the San Diego Loyal. They are a expansion team, first year here as well. So go ahead and support, man. Watch them. Do stuff on social media. Show them that you guys are still there, man. Show the team some love. Another team that we have played that they did play today was your Las Vegas Aces. Las Vegas Aces are back. WNBA is back. It's another bubble we got to talk about. Let's give the Aces some love, though, here. A quick little game recap. The Aces did take out the Dallas Wings today, 79-70. Now, they did miss a record 26 of 33 pointers. That is the Dallas Wings. That's a WNBA record, has never happened. Something we've never seen before.
13.3% is not good, Jose?
Jesus.
You're trying to tell me that?
Not good at all.
You're telling
our
me,
coach?
you're telling me
Not
four
good at all.
You said 26.
Is that
4 of
D'Antoni?
30 is actually.
I'm
mean,
sorry.
You could say it that
they
way,
missed
too.
26
They were
of 30.
4 of 30.
I'm sorry. It's 4 of 30. They missed 26 3-pointers.
I was just changing the way that you could say it. It's awesome.
Wait, they were 4 of 30?
They were 4
4
of
of
30
30.
from
Oh, you
downtown.
said that way.
4 of 30.
I was like,
They were
that's not that-
28 of 76 overall from the field.
Las Vegas led us as many as 13 points in the first quarter.
Yep.
First quarter, 24-18 at the end. Halftime, they were up 42-37. They pushed their lead all the way up to 14, but the Wings closed out the half on the 9-0 run. Big game from Asia Wilson, as always.
You gotta love that, Jose. You gotta love to get 5 players in double figures in this game. That and you gotta know Bill Lambier's happy with that. Get a little balanced scoring going on.
That's something he
there.
always talks about. Defense,
From
balance.
Jackie and from Hambry and from McBride, obviously Allen and Asia. You said 19 in the
So,
game.
Here's the thing. You said Jackie Young. I'm still not sold on Jackie Young. I know she got her 8th double-double of her career. She scored 10 points today. Or is it double? No, her 10th double-figure game of her career. But if you look at the way she's playing, it's like you're not at Mandalay Bay. You don't have the fans there. You don't have the pressure right now. Why are you still so hesitant? There's times where she gets the ball and she doesn't shoot. She should shoot. There's times when she gets the ball and it's like a deer in the headlights. What am I doing? I mean, I don't want to talk bad. I don't talk bad about her. But,
I gotta
but I'm
tell
just
you,
saying.
Jose. I gotta tell you, man. I give these women a pass. Okay, especially I'm talking about women like Jackie, who's in her first season / second season, which is all messed up. Okay, You're dealing with COVID-19. This whole thing is just weird. So I'm gonna go all Sopranos here, and I'm gonna give her a pass because she's essentially still in the back end. She's still finding her way in the league. You know what I mean? Still trying to figure out exactly what she's going to bring to the table
and who she
as
is
a basketball player. So, you say you're not going to be hard on her. I'm not going to be either. I think,
how many games is the WNBA?
Playing 16
it's not that many. Yeah, it's
only
I think
16?
it's 16, something like that. 16 or 18.
Yeah, you want to talk
about
about every game counts. Jeez.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's where that cliche. It was still a long season
they're
to go. It's
500
out the
right
window.
now.
Yeah, it's out the window. But see,
Well, a fourth of the season is done then because they're 2-2. So I mean, 25% of the season is.
But
done.
I think it's top 8 make the playoffs. So they're doing it. It's like a eight, half the league basically makes it or whatever it may be.
But we're talking about a team in our Aces that are missing their 2 star players. Okay, 2 of their star players. I mean, that is a big thing.
And not only that, you're missing
That's
a player in
big thing.
Kelsey Plum that showed up in the playoffs last year and found her game.
She did find her game, yes.
And found it very well. And it sucked when that injury came out because we knew she wasn't going to be there.
And Cam Beige is a talent that you just can't find around the corner, on any given day. It's a tough spot. Okay, let's put it that way. That Bill Lambier and his crew are put in. But hey, we'll see what happens, right, Jose? I mean, we'll see. I mean, you pointed out before the show that this is it's a crapshoot, and it's about just getting into the playoffs, and we can find out what they're going to do. So,
couple little game notes here. Asia Wilson did record her 4th double-double and her 60th double-double of her career. She's only played in 63 games, so that's not bad. Shows that she's fairly consistent. You know what you're going to get from her day in and day out. Big shout out to Angel McCautry as well. She moved past Lindsay Whalen into sole possession of 15th place on the WNBA's all-time scoring list. She now has 5,527 points. Next up on the scoring list for her would be Katie Douglas with 5,563. The next opponents for the Las Vegas Aces, they hit the road, if you want to call it that, because technically it's a road game. They'll be playing on Wednesday against the defending champs, a team they know all too well, the Washington Mystics. It is an 8 p.m. Eastern time tip, 5 p.m. out here on the West Coast in Las Vegas. So if you guys are watching and you guys are listening, make sure you tune in and watch your Aces and support them in any way, shape, form, or possible that you can. Now, have you guys watched any of the games aside from today's game?
I watched today because
by
it was
any
on
chance?
ESPN. Well, the good thing about sports right now coming back in America, guys,
They're all over the place.
Is that it's all over the place on national I watched it on ESPN2 today. They had the Aces game on ESPN2 today. So you have easy access is the point I'm trying to make. to a lot of these sports. And people are fired up in America, as we should be, right? That we're getting our own sports back. It's all fun and games, when you can go out there and you can bet your Russian table tennis, and you can bet your KBO baseball, and you can bet your Japanese baseball, and you can bet your European soccer. That, let's be honest, a lot of us sports fans didn't even watch 1 minute of Serie A soccer or / football,
Football.
or the league in the La Liga in Spain, or these other leagues. Yes, the Premier League we watch, from here and there. But I think everyone is excited that here in America we have our sports back in the United States. Everyone's pumped about it. And
did you enjoy what you saw today?
I did. I enjoyed the fact that it's back. That we can have access. That I can watch the Aces games on national TV, because it's a situation where it's our team. It's one of our teams here in Vegas, and I'm still wrapping my head around the fact that we're gonna have an NFL franchise here. Now that that Allegiant Stadium has just, it's all the bells and whistles are put in place and done, and you drive by that stadium and we're all coming to the realization that the National Football League is going to have a franchise here, and we're going to have Monday Night Football here in Vegas, and we're going to have Thursday Night Football, and it's
cannot wait to go to a game next year.
It's going to be crazy. 2021, right?
21.
I tweeted that out, by the way.
They haven't announced their ticket plans, though. I know the Dallas Cowboys just came out yesterday saying that they're going to do limited amount of quantity tickets for their season ticket holders that have first, dibs on them, or
whoever bought them first or whatever, maybe.
How do you do that, Rob? Think about
right.
that.
No,
how do you say, oh yeah, you season ticket holders over here, you get to go to the games, but you're screwed.
It's got to be a raffle, because they said it's supposed to be like 10,000. I'll keep you guys posted, because I'm a Raiders season ticket fan. I have season tickets to the Raiders, and I'm waiting for the email to see what they're gonna do, because Al Davis said.
So there you go. Once you find out, give me Mark.
You mean the email, Rob, that says your SOL, and you don't get a chance to go? Is that the email?
I feel like this season right now is especially being the inaugural season for the Raiders is super. I want to go to all these games. Well, I don't want to go to all these games, but this is a really good season to be. You got Tom Brady coming into town. You got Drew Brees. You got Tua, who's probably going to most likely be the starter at the end of the season, because they don't play them till week 16. You got Phillip Rivers and the Colts coming in. You got the Bills, who are finally good. They've been good. Decently good. Yeah, they were good last year a little bit too, but they're finally good. And you got a bunch of teams coming into town where this city was supposed to be alive and well this upcoming, fall and winter, and it's. Who knows what's going to happen?
Oh, and by the way, you've got the Super Bowl champions coming in.
Okay?
And all the teams in the AFC West.
I can't even talk about that. You got Drew Lock coming back.
It's just so sick.
Drew Lock, which I love Drew Lock.
And then you got Pat Mahomes coming in.
Yep.
This is your last chance to see Brady. This is your last chance to see Drew Brees. So it's a really bad situation. If you really wanted to go see the Raiders and go to the new stadium and experience all of that, is being taken away. So. Hopefully they'll let some of us in, but I'm waiting on that email to see what's going to happen, because this is a really good season that I do not want to miss out on.
So we got a few minutes here. I do want to stick to the Raiders real quick. Quan, you guys had on your sister station, Vegas Hype Media, yesterday, you had Darren Waller in the studio.
Yeah.
You were here.
You did, huh? Wow.
Yeah, they had Darren Waller in the studio.
Awesome.
You saw his reactions, the things that they told him. Seeing the way he is, how excited are you to see Raider football this year? I know you're not a Raider fan, but just in general.
Not like the Raiders. I'm born and raised in Vegas, so that's Team 1B. But if they play the 49ers in the Super Bowl, you know who I'm going for.
Niners, baby. Oh, you're a Niner fan?
Yeah, he's a Niner fan.
Yeah.
That's right. All right.
Yeah.
You cool.
But, I'm excited about it. I drove past the practice facility.
In Henderson?
That's amazing.
I've been there. It's awesome.
It's on a street called Raider Way, and it's a black street sign.
Yep.
Black and white street sign.
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty dope. The stadium, like Chris said, is open up. The fence is off, so we can go up there and take pictures.
It's open
Take
now.
pictures now. And so I'm excited, man. I'm excited about Raider football. I'm not sure if the season's going to happen, so that's kind of disappointing. But we'll see what they do. But it was cool having him in the studio. He's a real humble guy. Dope tight end. I think he's a little underrated. Has some injuries, but I think he'll have a good year.
You think he's going to get better with them bringing in Witten, because he can learn a lot more?
Definitely. You're bringing in one of the best tight ends in the last 20 years. I mean, definitely.
Cool, man. So
Jason Witten, man.
Jason.
I forgot that he was here until he mentioned it last night.
I drafted him on my fantasy team. My first year I moved to Vegas, it was 2004. 2004. Guy's still playing.
Still playing.
So sick.
That's
But
like
it's
a big
it is huge for Waller though to get that guy, a veteran presence who's been
gonna make some
around,
big plays.
who's been a great tight end for his entire career. There's no doubt that's going to be a big help to him.
And he's only there to
Yeah.
teach and take
Yeah,
a
he's gotta
couple
be a-
snaps. He's
That's all
not.
it is.
When
He's
he's
not
not,
gonna take
there
over.
to play a lot.
He'd be a great mentor for him.
And the Raiders just signed Jeremy Hill as well, veteran running back. So we'll see what he could bring to the
From the
table.
Bengals?
Yeah, from the Bengals.
Wow.
So they just
Yeah.
signed him. He tweeted
Nice.
out about it earlier.
Awesome.
How good is Jacobs? I mean, Jacobs.
Yeah.
He's solid.
They
gotta
got to
bring in insurance,
He's going to be
though.
awesome.
Well, it's been fun, man.
Yeah.
Chris, greatly appreciate you coming in the
Good
studio.
times as always, man.
Back to back, man. We greatly
Yep.
appreciate you last week covering for us and doing what you did.
No doubt.
Got a lot of good reviews. Got a lot of people calling me up, telling me you did great. Graciously appreciate you. Let the people know where they can find you on all things social media and what you got going on, brother.
Yeah, all things social media. I'm actually the social media contributor to the Vegas Take here in Las Vegas, the radio show 9 to 12 weekdays over on KDWN. But also you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and also on Instagram. I'm CJump77 on Instagram. You can find me at Christian Winn on Twitter, and also Christian W Winn on Facebook. Friend me up. I friend up everybody because I like to talk about everything, not just sports. You do a lot of politics stuff too, and a lot of current events things. So that's the way you can get a hold of me.
Sounds good. Now, Rob, I'm gonna let you tell people about your social media handle because you're not a handicapper, you're not pro, but you give out some good stuff from time to time. Have people follow you, man.
Yeah, you can find me. I'm only on Twitter, so you can find me Goldilocks, GOLDIELOCK 702. Goldilocks 702. Right. I don't even use it that often. But yeah, I don't be putting too much stuff out, but I do retweet a lot of stuff. If I see some good stuff, angle wise and stuff like that, when it comes to sports betting, I will retweet it. So follow me if you want to.
Fun show. Too bad that it's over, but
It was fun.
everything's
I like
got to
it.
end.
Little Sunday night edition.
We
Yeah,
will be
I like
back
it.
next Wednesday. So keep in mind, next Wednesday we will be live once again, 9 p.m. We have Roy Jones Jr. Boxing Promotions boxer. Max Ornelas joining us in the studio. 13-0, has not lost. He is a local kid from UNLV as well. We're trying to get Edgar Berlanga from Top Rank Boxing. He was previously on ESPN a few weeks ago here in Las Vegas. 14-0 with 14 first-round knockouts. The kid is lights out. Hopefully we'll have him on the show as well. I'm working on that one. But for sure, we will have Max Ornelas in studio. And we're going to have Dwayne Colucci joining us in studio as well.
Dwayne,
a lot of
love
stuff
Dwayne.
coming back. So we want to talk about how the sports books are getting the action, what actions get in there. So that should be a fun show. So make sure next week, Gorilla Cross Radio will be here once again, 9 p.m. Wednesday night. If you've missed the show, go ahead and go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, Google, wherever you like to listen to, GorillaCross.com, or the Gorilla Cross Radio app. And you can find the show there, audio. And if not, Gorilla Cross on YouTube, Jose V, Straight Bet Sports on YouTube as well. You can find the audio there. So I'm going to go ahead and end with this. Rob Manfred, get your head out of your you-know-what. Don't put the blame on the teams and the owners. You are the commissioner. If all the other commissioners from the other leagues have been able to figure it out, it's your turn. Figure this out. Get it right. Let's finish the season. And for people that like baseball, not Quan, let us enjoy this. Till then, I am Jose V. This was another episode of Straight Bet Sports, and I'm out.
Peace.